another big fight at 154 that I'm looking forward to, and that's Jerome Boots Ennis versus Xander Zayas, right? And I want to ask you about the winner of that fight. Not who you think is going to win, but what should the winner do? But just tell me what you think about that fight and stylistically.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of surprised the fight happened, right? Like they both signed for the fight, not on Boots' end, but more so on Zayas' end. I didn't think Zayas was gonna take that fight with Boots, seeing how dangerous of a fighter Boots is. So all respect to Xander Zayas as being a unified champion, and Boots is really coming up and just bringing up his name. But so that was my initial thoughts. I think it was a great fight. I think Xander Zayas is a good fighter. Youngest pro boxer, I believe, to be signed to Top Rank. He's currently the youngest unified champion in boxing right now. Although the opponents that he's beaten aren't like A-tier boxers, but still decent wins.
Neither of the folks that Boots are beating, though, right?
Huh?
Neither are the folks that Boots are beating, though, right? Like neither of them are beating A-tier fighters.
Yeah, I would say the best win Boots has is Stanionis, and I think Stanionis is better than anyone Xander Zayas has beaten. So I won't say that. But yeah, to your point, that's so I think watching stylistically, that fight is a great fight because they're both boxers. I'll probably consider them kind of Boots is a boxer puncher, but they're both box. They can both box, they both bang. So it's gonna be an interesting fight. Xander Zayas is probably a little bigger than Boots. He's taller. This is gonna probably be the biggest fighter Boots has ever fought. So let's see what type of difference that's gonna make. But I don't think he punches harder than Boots. I don't think he's faster than Boots. I don't think he's as talented as Boots. But I could be wrong. So, for me, I think it's going to be a great fight. And I'm just excited more so on what's going to happen versus I haven't thought much of what they should do next after the fight. So
True. Well, I think this is Boots' moment, right? To become a unified champion again at 154 pounds, kind of stake his name, right? This probably will be the biggest name he beats if he wins the fight, vice versa for Xander. So everything's on the line here. And then, the winner of this is probably going to be catapulted into another huge unification fight. So I think both these guys have a lot to show. I know I don't know. I believe, and I haven't looked at it yet, I believe the odds are going to have Boots as a favorite, but I think Xander's a live dog in this fight. Like, I don't think this is a pushover. However, every time I thought Boots was going to be challenged, he rose to another level. You know what I'm saying? So I'm interested to see. And that'll tell me a lot about Boots. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like when the other guy has some kind of punching power, or Boots respects his power at least, Boots isn't getting hit as much, because the thing is that Boots get hit a lot. But when we see guys who are considered big punchers like Romain Villa, Stanionis, Boots wasn't letting those guys hit him. You know what I mean? So interesting fight. But the reason I asked what to do next is because I'm not even going to sit here and tell you a lie. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I just think the Fundora thing is not fair, bro. Like, I know we can't do height limits, but it's just not fair. It's just not fair. So the reason I asked what they should do next is because I'm wondering, is the winner of this fight the person who has the best chance of defeating Sebastian Fundora at 154 pounds?
If I'm being honest, I don't think Xander beats Fundora. And with Boots,
you think Boots beats Fundora?
I think Boots and Virgil has the best chance of beating Fundora.
Okay.
Virgil because of his aggression and body punching capabilities.
But then he's going to be there to get hit too.
Yeah. And then Boots really because his talent, and Boots can punch. But even then, I'm not confident in their chances. That's the thing. Bro. I'm not confident. Like, Fundora literally is walking cheat code. Literally.
Bro, the dude needs to be up somewhere fighting guys the size of David Benavidez, bro.
Bro, he's a cheat code. They have to investigate the physics of throwing punches downwards from that height. Bro, it has to be something, bro. Like, can you imagine just the punch just being there the whole time and then once you finally exhausted all your energy to get inside, he's just throwing vicious uppercuts? Come on.
Yeah. Rolly said it's something funny about the weight. I don't know, because Fundora is such a slender guy, you see, but he said, bro, He said at that height, there's something weird going on with the scales and stuff. That's what Rolly said.
Yo, you got to think too, because you got to think also with that height too, the bone density of someone being that tall and larger human being, like, bro, like that's a cheat code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's he really is a walking cheat code for sure.
Yeah, he's like that's who you make in fight night, right? You go make a 6'6" guy with 80-inch arm reach fighting at a smaller weight class, bro. It's insane. But shout out to Boots and Zayas for making this fight happen. Would love to see the winner mix it up with Fundora or Virgil Ortiz, or maybe in the meantime, I would like to just see. Hopefully, Virgil's situation clears up and he can get a hard fight. But this is kind of always what I suspected was going to happen. No disrespect to Zayas, but I thought Boots in the road to undisputed for 54. I saw Boots fighting probably what we could be shocked, right? And our minds can change, but present day, what was considered as the lesser competition, and Virgil probably has to be the one to go take on Fundora. And I don't know if that's going to happen with his legal situation, but I remember we were talking about this, and I was just like, Boots should come up and go straight after Fundora, try to get that belt. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think if Virgil gets the fight, I think they're gonna make Virgil fight Fundora, and if Virgil win and Boots win, then we're gonna see those guys. But someone has to get Josh Kelly too. Josh Kelly has a belt.
That is true, and
maybe
I
Virgil
think
should go after Josh Kelly.
And for me, in the perfect world, 2 belts on one side, 2 belts on the other side, fight for undisputed. Because I do hate the fact that a person can have no belts and fight someone with 4 belts and then become undisputed, or have 1 belt and the other person got 3 belts, and it's like
but in this case,
guy
bro,
did the heavy lifting,
But in this case, what I will say, and I'm with you usually, but I'll play devil's advocate. I would like to see Virgil go, probably take on Josh Kelly or Fundora, either which one. And if he's successful, I would like to see Boots go get the 3rd belt, and then they mix it up. Only because of this reason. This is assuming Boots beats Zayas, right? Just because I want to see Boots Virgil, right? This is not saying he's going to beat Zayas. Only because Virgil been at 54 fighting good names, and Boots came up. He's had 1 fight. Now he's going for 2 belts, right? So Virgil been putting in work against good names. So in this kind of circumstance, I would give him a pass for getting 1 belt and saying, bro, like, you got a fast track to 2 belts because this guy was unified. You know what I mean? And while I've been here fighting names.
Yeah, no, you're right. But like, even in the case with Xander Zayas, like, he comes in, beats him. Now he has 2 belts. Now he's a unified champion off of just 1 fight. It's kind of like that's my point. Like, you're still skipping the line in a sense, regardless of whether it's 3, 2, but you're still kind of like, but I get your point. Because he's skipping the line, Virgil subsequently can challenge that and not really go out his way to collect all these Dragon Balls one by one. Yeah. So I get your point. I do get your point.
Usually I'm like, yo, you get 2, I get 2, let's meet in the middle. But because Virgil been at 54 putting in work, I would say, all right, Boots, if you get 2 straps off of 1 fight, your second fight at 54, bro, just go get the 3rd one too, and let me get 1, and then let's meet up, because I've been beating notable names at this division.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah. And before we wrap, quick take. Right? Devin Haney said PBC is not paying people. Rolly said, no, I called your bluff. You said you wanted to fight, and now that I accepted, now you don't want to fight. Who are you leaning towards in this dispute here?
I mean, yeah, that argument, PBC not paying people, is weak. Like, I know Devin Haney's not probably interested in fighting Rolly, not because he's scared of Rolly, but maybe he's no interest in terms of, but you are the guy that you claim yourself to be, Debo. Rolly said he wants to make the fight happen. Make the fight happen. PBC not paying. We don't want to hear none of that. We do not want to hear none of that, because if you go and fight lesser comp, someone that's worse than Rolly, then what's the point?
Yeah, but he was calling, his dad said that's an easy fight to make. Why doesn't Rolly want to fight? They're both champions, unification. And then now it seems like Rolly's going with it, and I'm hearing that the fight might not happen. Devin saying like something with PBC, like it's something with the guarantee. But I think this is what we heard with PBC for years, right? I think this has been their structure, where I think the guarantee looks like a lower number, but I think you make a lot of money, or you can make a good amount based on the pay-per-view and stuff like that. I think their guarantees have been consistent. Something like that is what I heard, right? I don't know the facts, but I don't know, Debo. I don't know with this one, Debo. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, Haney. I
But
don't know. Looking shaky. I don't know. This might
yeah,
be the only time. You know, we always say Devin Haney's that guy that is willing to fight anyone, but in this case, it might be a first.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Of course, love to keep up the engagement with the supporters. Want to hear what your thoughts are. Who's running the 154-pound division? Is it the hottest division in boxing? 2 cents short of a dollar. We'll be seeing you soon.